Hey everybody, so tonight I wanted to touch on a topic that's very important to me, that should be important to everybody, and that's basically home defense. And what I wanted to do was talk about some some fallacies and some myths that are out there about certain methods of home defense. And this video is basically coming because recently I've had some opportunities to speak with some friends of mine, some family members, and I'd like to get a sense of where people are at as far as home defense is concerned, what their methods are, and just basically what their philosophy is on it, what methods they've chosen, if any at all, to protect themselves in their homes. And overwhelmingly, the answers that I'm hearing from people, these are people that I care about very much, and I'm genuinely concerned about their welfare. And the things that they're telling me, it makes me cringe to hear some of the things they say. So I took some notes, so I don't go down any rabbit trails like I'm known to do. If anyone knows me personally, you know what I'm talking about. But I took some notes just to kind of keep myself on task. So we're going to start with the first one, and this is just kind of logistical. So the first thing I want to talk about is types of weapons to use for home defense, right? So obviously you have your three basic types of weapons. You've got your pistol, your shotgun, and your rifle. And I'm not going to say that any one of those is quote unquote the right home defense weapon. Um, the majority of people in the gun community will say shotgun is the best weapon for home defense. And but even amongst that group, the reasons that they give for why they think the shotgun is the best weapon for home defense, some of those are myths, which we'll get into in a little bit. But what I'm going to say is your family dynamic and your situation is going to dictate what you choose as your home defense weapon. As long as it's right for you, then it's the right weapon to use. Um, Shotguns are great for home defense, obviously. Any gun is great for home defense. Let me start off by saying that any gun for home defense is better than no gun for home defense. So if you choose to use a shotgun, some guy tells you, oh, that's the wrong weapon to use, you should be using a rifle or a pistol. Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about, because you know what? The fact that you have a gun for home defense, you're already on the right track, right? That's better than the guy who has nothing in his house for home defense, or he thinks he's just gonna overpower him with his bare hands because he's a big tough guy. So because the bottom line is you don't know what could happen. You know what I mean? Crimes are random. They're random acts of violence, and so you have no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea who's coming into your house. If you are the victim of a home invasion, you have no idea what whomever that person, that individual or group of individuals. More than likely, it's going to be a group. Most home invaders. Now let's talk about home invasion for a second. Home invasion is different than burglary. Burglary is you're gone, you're at work, somebody comes into your home when you're not there, and they steal your stuff. They pack up your stuff, they leave. By the time you get home, you've been robbed, you call the police. They take 2 hours to show up, take a police report, and you're out. All of the stuff that's stolen. That is not the same thing as a home invasion. A home invasion is very specific. You are home. You are in your house, and the people who are coming into your home, they know you're home, and they don't care that you're home. They're coming in anyways. Okay, these are people that are intent on and have no problem doing violence to you and yours, you and your family members. Okay, so this is something that's very different, and it needs to be handled in a different way. So, but I digress. So going back to the types of weapons to use, again, you've got your three basic types: handgun, shotgun, rifle, and you need to choose something that suits your family dynamic. So for myself, I have three young children. Okay, I have a 4 and a 5-year-old son, a 4-year-old son, a 5-year-old son, and I have a 1-month-old daughter. So in the event of any type of home defensive situation where it's required for me to use a gun to protect my family, I I use a handgun, and this is the gun that I use. This is a Smith & Wesson M&P 9mm. As you see here, I have a Surefire X300 500 lumen flashlight attached to the front of it. Now, I decided to use a handgun for my home defense weapon, and here's the reason why. If it's the middle of the night, I hear a bump in the night, the old bump in the night, and I get up to go, assess the situation, see what's going on. If I'm using a shotgun or any type of long gun, whether it be a shotgun or a rifle, and I come out into my hallway and there's somebody there or whatever, okay, like I said, I have a 4-year-old son and a 5-year-old son that share a bedroom. If shots are exchanged or there's a bunch of loud noises going on in my house, what do kids like to do? They like to investigate. Kids are curious. They're going to open the door. They're going to come out into the hallway, trying to figure out what's going on. They're going to be panicked. They're going to be scared. I'm going to have to be able to restrain my children or be able to grab them and keep them out of the line of fire. And which also means I'm going to have to be operating my firearm with one hand while keeping positive control of my kids with my other hand. Now, if anybody's ever tried to manipulate a 12 gauge shotgun or even an AR-15 one-handed, not the easiest thing to do. But manipulating a handgun with one hand is far simpler to do. Um, you can much more successfully manipulate a pistol with one hand than you can a shotgun or a rifle with one hand, while still using your other hand to, like I said, maintain positive control of your children, grab them by their shirt, their arm, whatever the case may be, and pull them behind you, keep them out of the line of fire, pick them up if you have to, and move with them while holding them, while still being able to successfully manipulate your pistol. So that is the main reason why I have chosen a pistol for my home defense weapon. The second reason why I chose a pistol for my primary home defense weapon is they're much easier to conceal inside the house where my kids and my aforementioned two small, very, very curious boys cannot find them or get to them. I keep them up out of their reach, uh, and that'd be much more difficult to do with a longer weapon like a shotgun or a rifle. So those are the reasons why I have chosen a handgun for my home defensive weapon. Is that really the ideal as far as being able to repel a threat? Probably not, but it's what works for me at this particular time in the way my family dynamic is set up. When my children are older, when my boys are older and my daughter's old enough and I've taken them to the range and they've been trained and I've had more time to invest in them, to the skills and more importantly the safety measures behind firearms, then I'll probably switch to using a long gun inside the house when I feel more comfortable with my children's wherewithal about firearm safety. But for now, a handgun will do because again, going back to what I said earlier, any gun for home defense is better than no gun for home defense. I mean, that's pure logic, right? It makes sense. If you're gonna have to defend yourself with something, so use something. So moving along, um, people that like to use shotguns for home defense. Again, I'm not knocking it at all. I think shotguns are great. I own a couple shotguns myself. 12 gauge shotgun. Let's talk about the 12 gauge for a second. 12 gauge shotgun. Let's see, I'm almost 6'4", 200, right about 200 pounds, and I am not afraid to say that a 12 gauge shotgun bucks like a mule. Okay, the recoil on a 12 gauge shotgun, if you're using full power loads, it's substantial, substantial recoil. So full-grown men, but I can handle it just fine, right? And it's not really a big deal. So I would have no problem grabbing a 12 gauge shotgun and using that to defend myself, defend my family. My wife, on the other hand, much smaller in stature than me, much lower threshold for pain, obviously, not nearly as physically strong as I am. Obviously, she's a smaller woman, right? It's to be expected. So for all you men out there who think that your much smaller statured wife is going to be able to successfully manipulate a 12 gauge shotgun in a stressful situation, you're setting your wives up for failure. Okay, if you plan on using a shotgun, that's fine. Grab her a 20 gauge. Remington 870 youth model 20 gauge shotgun is probably going to be your best bet. Okay, that 20 gauge is a much milder recoil, and the 20 gauge shotgun still has roughly twice the amount of power as a 44 Magnum. Um, so again, it's plenty of ammo, or excuse me, it's plenty of firepower to handle an intruder. And you're not going to set your wife up for failure by giving her that 20 gauge, or I'm sorry, that 12 gauge. That's going to buck really hard. So she might get one shell out, and depending on how stressed out she is, if she doesn't remember her proper shooting mechanics, she might end up getting knocked down by the shotgun. And God forbid she misses the target, and now she's been knocked down, or she drops the weapon or something like that. So again, don't set your wife up for failure by giving her a weapon that's too powerful for her to wield, quite frankly. So let's see, I covered the first two because my second note is actually kids or no kids in the house. So again, if you have small kids in your house, you might want to modify your defensive posture a little bit depending on the age of your children and the mindset of your children. Like I said, my boys are 4 and 5. They're just not there mentally yet. Everything is a toy to them. So if I were to hand them a real gun right now, the first thing they would do is point it at me and start going pew pew pew, making bang bang noises, right? They don't have the mindset to understand the danger behind real weapons yet. Now, if you don't have any kids in your house or you have older children in your house, hey, sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Stash an AR-15 in every corner of the house, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. This is America. It's a free country. So moving along, this is something that I really want to talk about because I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently, and this guy told me, wow, I'm coming up on 10 minutes already. wow, this time goes by quick. I had a friend of mine tell me that if someone breaks into his home, he's gonna rack his shotgun to scare him, right? That's gonna be the first thing he's gonna. And some of you watching this video have probably heard this before from some of your own friends and family. I've heard this more than once, not just from this gentleman that I was speaking with. He's a close friend of mine. I've been friends with this guy since junior high. And it bugged me when he said this because I've heard it before, and I was hoping he wasn't going to be one of these people. And so basically, what he was telling me is that he's going to rack the shotgun to scare the individual and give them a chance to surrender while he calls the police. So I asked him, first thing I asked him was, why are you bringing an unloaded gun to a gunfight? And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? So I explained to him, well, if you're racking your shotgun, it's because you don't have a shell in the chamber. And so you're already setting yourself up for failure. You're already at a disadvantage because your gun is not loaded. I don't care how many shells you've got in the magazine tube. If there's no shell in the chamber, you have an unloaded weapon. That's just pure and simple. And the same thing applies for any other type of weapon. If I have a magazine in my pistol, but I don't have a round in it, and I haven't chambered a round, my weapon's unloaded. If I can pull the trigger and nothing happens, there's no bang, no round comes out, that's an unloaded gun. I don't care if I got an extended 55 round 9mm magazine hanging out the bottom of this thing. No round in the chamber equals an unloaded gun as far as I'm concerned. And guns were designed to be carried loaded. They're designed to be loaded. And by the way, this weapon is loaded right now as we speak. There is a round in the chamber. Because that's just simply how I carry my weapons. They're supposed to be loaded. So that was my question to him. Why are you bringing an unloaded gun to a gunfight? And the answer he gave me made absolutely no sense. Basically, it was one born out of fear because he doesn't want to leave it loaded because an accident might happen in the house. He's fearful for his wife. She might accidentally do something to shoot herself. I asked him this question: do you think your wife is an idiot? Your wife is a grown woman. Okay, I think she understands the concept that if you pull the trigger, the gun's gonna fire. So what makes you think that she's dumb enough to just walk over and press the trigger on your shotgun while it's in the corner in the bedroom just for no reason? I said, I hope you give your wife more credit than that, but apparently not. So basically, it's irrational fear is what he's suffering from. Is a completely irrational fear that something bad just may or may not happen. The gun's just going to go off on its own and blast his wife or something like that, something ridiculous. So then I tried to address the whole give the bad guy a chance to surrender statement that he said to me, and that didn't make any sense to me either. And he knows my defensive posture. He knows my mindset, and my mindset is this: if you enter my home unannounced and uninvited at any point in time, at any time of day or night, doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's the middle of the day. If you have forced your way into my house uninvited, as far as I'm concerned, you have just forfeited your right to live. So if you die in that confrontation that's about to ensue, so be it. It's on you. You should have stayed out of my house. That's just the way I look at it. He, on the other hand, he's a little bit more altruistic than I am. He's a little bit more forgiving than I am, which is fine. That's everybody. That's every man's right to choose. And but my posture, my stance, my mindset on the subject is born out of one my military experience. One thing that I've seen is that bad guys, we call them bad guys for a reason because they do bad things, right? And they do bad things because they don't care about people. They don't care about the people that they're hurting. They don't care about the people that they're stealing from. Um, and so if you're trying to reason with a bad guy, he's a bad guy for a reason. He's already broken into your home. He's already demonstrated that he doesn't care about the sovereignty of your home, about the sanctity of your home. He's already demonstrated that. And so you're going to give him a second chance by you're going to rack your shotgun, which you assume is going to scare him. And that, again, that's another one of those fallacies and myths that everyone in the world is afraid of the sound of a shotgun racking. Not everybody in the world is afraid of the sound of a shotgun racking. And you're also assuming that this guy's clear and level-headed and rationally minded. Okay, he's a criminal, so he can't be that clear and level-headed and rationally minded. He's breaking into your home into the middle of the night. Let's say he's juiced up on PCP and he's kicking your door down. How much fear do you think he's going to be feeling at the sound of a shotgun racking when he's got PCP coursing through his blood? He's not even going to feel pain. You could shoot him with that shotgun, and he most likely wouldn't even feel the pain from it. So the sound of the shotgun racking is not going to enlist or instill any level of fear in him. So his defensive posture is based on a whole lot of hyperbole and assumption, and I suspect being brainwashed by the media and watching too many movies. So I'm doing my level best to try and dispel my good friend of all these myths and fallacies that he's functioning under. And unfortunately, it's to no avail, and it was very, very frustrating to me. So again, racking your slide on your shotgun, you're going to rack the shotgun. That's supposed to scare them. Sorry, no, you're assuming that everybody's afraid of the sound of a shotgun. You're going to give them a chance to surrender. Well, by racking that shotgun, all you've done is give away your position in the house. Okay? You have tactical supremacy in your house by default because it's your home. You know the layout of your house, and most people can maneuver around in their own house in pitch darkness pretty easily because they know where everything's at in their house. They know all the rooms, they know all the corners, they know exactly where the furniture is at. So you can probably blindfold yourself and maneuver through your house pretty well without even bumping into anything. Somebody breaks into your home, they don't have that advantage. You already have the advantage over the intruder. Okay? If you know someone's in the house, you don't give away your position in the house by making loud noises. Vis-a-vis racking your shotgun. That is a very loud noise, and people are very good at echolocating. So they're going to echolocate you with their ears, and they're going to immediately, if they have a weapon, the first thing they're going to do is turn and fire in that direction. So you've given away your position, and you've basically just told the bad guy, here I am, I'm standing over here, turn and open fire on me. So again, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage unnecessarily. And I told him, bottom line, the only time you should be racking your shotgun is because you've already fired the first shell. You've already fired the first shot, and now you're racking the second shell into the chamber. And but again, I'm dealing with somebody who's, he's a very cerebral man. And I care about the guy very much. I'm not insulting him, but what I'm saying is that his thinking on this subject is flawed. It's very flawed, and it's been influenced by the wrong elements. And so, anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say right now on the subject of home defense. This video is getting pretty long, so I'm going to cut it a little bit short. But, if you have anything to add to this, please by all means leave some comments. Post up in the comments and, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff that people say at the ends of their videos on YouTube. And, we can get into a good discussion if you like. And so, that's pretty much all I have to say about the subject right now. But if you have anything that you'd like to add, or if you have any questions that you'd like for me to answer, or something that you'd like for me to elaborate on, by all means, please post that in the comments. I'd be more than happy to make another video and focus it around your questions specifically. So, with that though, I would like to leave you with these words: God bless America. God bless you, the American patriot, and long live the Republic.